Hello, this is how to use the 25 Live Room Seek tool. So the 25 Live Room Seek tool in class is available starting review phase, so after room assignment phase. This is a tool that will allow you to look at centrally scheduled classrooms and their availability. The tool is looking at a couple different fields within class on a section. So to use it, I'm going to show you an example of creating a new section. So for this case, we've created a new section. The fields that the 25 Live Room Seek tool is looking at, the first one is the campus and location. So whether you select main campus or maybe if you select East Campus, will change what rooms will populate in the Room Seek field. So it's important to choose your correct campus and location code. The next field it's going to look at is your enrollment maximum. So how big the room needs to be. So that's why it's looking at the enrollment maximum number. The next field it's looking at is schedule. So that would be your meeting pattern. Right now we don't have one assigned. So we'll assign a meeting pattern real quick using our snapper screen. And the third field it's going to look at is preferred features. Right now, you don't see anywhere for you to select preferred features. The only way for you to select is to choose centrally scheduled classroom. And now we have the option to select a preferred feature. So when we select on this, we can choose our preferred features by hitting the pencil icon and then clicking on the plus button. We can now choose from our drop down, say what preferred feature we'd like. Once all of those fields are filled out accordingly, we can now use the 25 Live Room Seek tool by clicking on it. It's going to populate a new screen. And on this screen, we're going to have 3 tabs, so 3 different options. Our first option is classrooms, centrally scheduled classrooms that are available and meet all of our criteria. And if you forget what the criteria is, it's listed here at the top. So these are the 4 things that 25 Live is looking at right now. It's looking at Boulder main campus, a meeting pattern of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10:10 to 11, an enrollment max of 30, and a preferred feature of table armchairs. On this tab, this available meets all criteria is the list of rooms that meet all 4 of these criterias. So for instance, there is one room available that is available and meets all of the criteria. Our second tab are rooms that are available but might not meet all 4 of our criteria. So in this case, these are rooms that are available for the meeting pattern of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10:10 to 11, but either have a lower cap than the enrollment max or are missing the preferred features we selected. On this tab, it will also tell you what the criteria is that's not being met. So for Chem 145, it looks like the capacity for that room is 28. Our enrollment max is 30, so we have a deficit of 2. We can also see for Chem 146, our capacity is, the room capacity is 10, so there's a deficit of 20, and it's also missing the table armchairs. This tab is extremely helpful because it could give you an additional list of rooms that could be available if you are willing to adjust your criteria. So this can be really helpful if an instructor is okay with removing a room feature, or for instance, if they're okay with maybe lowering their cap to get the room that they want or to get a better room that works a little bit better for them. We do highly recommend when you're using this tool to look at both of these tabs to have the most knowledge of what rooms are available to you. The third tab is just the list of rooms that are unavailable. So you're mostly looking at these first two tabs. If you find a room that you really want, so for instance, this is a new section that we're creating, say this room is exactly what we want, we can hit select. We can see now that it's populated in the facility ID box. Once we've filled out all of our other fields, we could then hit save section. And if there are no other errors that we receive, if everything else, we do not trigger any additional rules, we'll get the option to submit to workflow. Academic scheduling will always review any centrally scheduled room request. So if you ever choose a room from RoomSeek, you will get the option to submit to workflow because we will be reviewing that. If you submit to workflow, it is a pending room change. It is a pending change until we fully have approved it. One thing to note, though, is if you choose a room from RoomSeek, you hit Save Section and you get an error that is a room overlap error. So it will be a red symbol and it will say room overlap. That indicates that someone else has selected that room and it is pending in workflow. So you'll need to select a different room from the RoomSeek tool if that happens. The other very nice thing about class and the RoomSeek tool is you can present options to it. So say for instance, our instructor on this class, this section 1, wants to possibly change the meeting pattern for this class, but you don't know if there are any centrally scheduled rooms available. What we can do in class is present new information. And as long as we don't click on save section, we will not permanently update the section. So for this case, we're going to go in to our meeting pattern and we're going to select whatever meeting pattern this instructor is hoping to change to. So say they want to possibly change their time to 4:40 to 5:30. We can hover, select our new time, hit accept. Now, when we go into RoomSeek is going to look at the information we have presented it. So we have changed the time. We're presenting a new time to it. So now it's looking at rooms that are for this new time that we've presented. So we could go back to our instructor and say, yeah, there are these rooms that are available that during this meeting pattern and are big enough to fit your enrollment max. If the instructor did want to change their meeting time, you then would follow the instructions on canceling and recreating a section. If there was enrollment on the class, if you're changing the meeting time. The nice thing is, say they didn't want to make any updates, all you have to do is click cancel, and the changes that you presented will not save as long as you do not click on save section. So now when we open this class back up, we have the original meeting pattern and the original room. Nothing was changed on it because we did not save the section. And that is how to use the 25 Live RoomSeek tool.